Heels, it's Hailey Reese, and today I am super excited because I'm doing one of what's going to be many videos here on Daily Hailey, and that is basically introducing a new series to you guys. I've decided to bring a series here on my channel every single Wednesday called Wine Wednesday, where I essentially sit down and over a glass of wine talk with you guys about many different subjects and really anything that I feel like talking about or I feel like sharing, or even things that you guys will request for me to talk about on Wine Wednesday. One of the biggest things that I want to do with this specific channel is make it not so much of just a vlog channel, but also make it a channel of Daily Hailey and everything that I am as a person and all that I am in general. And I really feel like that begins with me opening up to you guys about who I am when I turn off the camera, about the things that I've been through and the mistakes that I've made, but also the things that I've done right. And so Wine Wednesday is going to be the one day a week where we just sit down and I just open up to you guys about real life things and really anything that I feel like talking about. To kick off the first Wine Wednesday, I figured I would dive into something that we all go through, and that is love. Recently, I kind of went on a little bit of a Twitter tangent where I talked about the fact that in a relationship, I'm not a jealous person whatsoever, and that in fact, I actually kind of like it when women hit on my boyfriend in front of me. And that kind of raised a lot of mixed controversy, and some people understood it, and others said they could never do that, and others really wanted to know what exactly I meant by I like it when my boyfriend's hit on in front of me. So we're just gonna dive into all that is love. I'm kind of gonna go through very briefly my past relationships and how I got to this point in my life where jealousy really isn't present in my life, because it wasn't always like that. So without further ado, I'm going to pour a glass of wine. If you are of legal drinking age and you'd like to have a glass of wine with me, let's do it. If not, grab your beverage of choice and let's get into all that is love and exposing my past relationships. This is definitely not sponsored, but lately my favorite wine to drink is this XOXOXO wine. It's a Pinot Grigio and Chardonnay, and it's delicious. And it's got a Tiffany blue lid, so I love that, you know? I think that's where you're supposed to drink wine too. I normally just fill the cup, but we'll go with this. So for those of you who know me well, you guys would know that I've been in an 8-year relationship. I got into a relationship when I was 15, 16 years old and held that for 8 years. And so it might come as a shock to you that I had prior relationships or that I had other boyfriends. But I will say, all through growing up and all through high school and middle school, I was a little bit boy crazy. I had a very particular type, and I think that that's why I had so many relationships in grade 7, 8, and 9, because that specific type wasn't necessarily the type that was best for me. You see, I've always had this problem where I want to be treated with respect and I want to be treated with kindness, but I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I don't want to feel like you're worshiping me in a relationship and you feel less than. I like to be challenged and I like to feel like we're equal. So that kind of brought a little bit of a problem when I was younger and I would meet these guys. Is the nice guys were too nice to me and valued me a little bit too much, but then I would go after these bad boys that didn't value me enough. And for me, I'm a very complicated woman. I like to be respected, I like to be valued, but I also, like I said, like to be challenged and like to be put into my place. I never want to be in a relationship with somebody where I feel like they're afraid to tell me that I've messed up or to tell me that I've done wrong or to put me in my place if I'm acting some type of way or if I'm doing something wrong. I also had a thing growing up for hockey players specifically. Hockey is our biggest sport, and the high school that I would go to actually had a lot of OHL players, which is like right below going to the NHL, I guess. And so all of the girls really wanted to date these hockey boys. The problem with that is these hockey boys knew that all the girls wanted to date them, so they were either really big players or they had high egos. And I'm not trying to generalize all of them. Obviously, there are good guys in any situation. But in my experience, I was chasing after these bad boy hockey boys that didn't put much value on me, if I'm being quite frank. If you guys want a video where I go through specific boyfriends, because I've had some interesting boyfriends when I was younger, let me know in the comments below and I will definitely do a whole other video on that. But I'm gonna kind of skim how I went from being somebody who was jealous, because at one point I was super jealous, to being somebody that really does not bring jealousy into a relationship whatsoever. So like I said, I started dating these hockey boys, and I'm not saying I limited myself to hockey boys, but I definitely had a liking for them. And I grew up watching hockey. My grandpa loved hockey, so it was kind of just the type that I was gravitating towards. And if you want to get specific with my type, more often than not, I liked tall and maybe tan skin or dark haired or dark eyed guys. And it's funny because my mom and Sarah, my friends, will say that I have a very specific type of guy, and I don't have the same type of guy as many people. I definitely don't like to categorize into a type. Like if I'm attracted to someone, I'm attracted to them. But whenever I look at my mom and Sarah and I'm like, oh, that's a good looking guy, they'll look at me like that is such a Hailey guy to like. So back in grade 7, 8, and 9 in high school, when I started dating, like I said, I was attracted to this bad boy type. I would try to date nice guys, and I have a whole story time on a nice guy that I dated, and it's so funny, but I basically was chasing after these bad boys. Now, one thing that I should mention is I used to wear a purity ring, and my purity ring meant something different to me than what it would mean to just anybody. It was really my own personal values, and engraved on that purity ring I had love is patient. I was in no rush, no hurry to lose my virginity. In fact, at one point I thought that I might wait till marriage, but I ended up deciding that what that meant to me was that the person that I was going to lose my virginity to was going to be somebody that, one, I could see myself marrying, or I see this going somewhere beautiful, and two, somebody that I truly loved to my core, and in that moment it felt right. Now, the thing about that is it sounds really nice on paper, it sounds really nice in a video, but it doesn't translate well to dating these young boys that I was dating in grade 8 and 9. In fact, a lot of them either A, took it as a challenge to try to date me, to try to get my virginity, or they looked at it as something that I was just saying, and if they started dating me, that maybe I would give it up. I remember dating these guys or seeing these guys and feeling like it was such a pressure on me all the time to have to do that. And in fact, a lot of times that was the biggest reason that I either A, got cheated on, or B, got broken up with. And I can say that is the most heartbreaking thing ever, is to feel like people feel that all you can bring to a relationship is your sexuality or sexual activities. And that really took a hit on my, what's the word I'm looking for? It really took a hit on my self-value, because I felt like that was all that people saw value in me. I was very misjudged by not only other girls, but other boys as well. And I really felt like people looked at me and assumed that me saying I was a virgin, or me saying that I was going to be saving my virginity, was a lie. And it definitely was not. This was around the time that jealousy started forming in me, because I remember that I dated this one guy in grade 9 that I really, really liked. And he really seemed to like me too, but at that time as well, I was traveling between Canada and New York because I just signed a record deal. So there was a lot of traveling involved, and like I said, I was saving my virginity. I had no intention of giving that to him at that particular point in time. And I remember one night, I just got a terrible sinking feeling. I am incredibly psychic when it comes to people that I like, and I just knew that he had cheated on me. And I somehow convinced his friend to tell me that that was true, and it just crushed me. And I remember going on to Facebook profiles and everything and looking at this girl, seeing like what she had that I didn't have, like what she had that made him choose her over me. And all I could think about was the fact that it came down to she could give him something that I wasn't willing to give him. And this took a huge hit on me emotionally. So obviously that relationship wound up ending, and I had a couple of other relationships. And I use this loosely, you guys, because clearly I was young, but I had a couple of other relationships with people that tended to meet the same fate. It was either they would realize that they weren't gonna get what they wanted from me and they would leave me, or they would like me as a girlfriend because I was supportive and kind and sweet and we had good times, but they would go and get what they wanted elsewhere. And this brought out so much jealousy in me, to the point where I was ruining potential relationships because my jealousy, because I felt like there was no way that they weren't going to cheat on me because everyone had, and there was no way that they weren't going to break up with me when they didn't get what they wanted. Now, when I was getting into my relationship with Tyler, where I think that went so right was that that relationship really started as friendship. And we really built this trust where I knew when I spoke to him, his responses were going to be honest, and what he was going to say to me was going to be from the heart. And there's nothing more incredible in a relationship than valuing and respecting one another. And I really felt valued and I felt respected, even though in the beginning of our relationship he was seeing other girls and it was like this awkward, we were friends and we didn't know how to take it somewhere else, and that's a whole other story. That was when I started to realize that by stressing other people in my relationship, all I was doing was giving people too much power, but also bringing a third person into my relationship, which is jealousy. And jealousy in a relationship will end it in some cases. When you stress a situation that hasn't yet happened, you're giving negativity and you're giving these other women or you're giving these other men too much power over your happiness, because ultimately he chose you or she chose you. When I was reading through your guys' comments on these tweets that I tweeted, so many of you were saying that you think it stems down to your own insecurity, and insecurity is totally natural. It's natural to feel insecure sometimes. It's natural to want to be protective over something so special, something that's yours and solely yours. But with that being said, insecurity needs to be nipped in the bud because he chose or she chose you. And you have to remember that if they wanted to be with somebody else, they would be. And unfortunately, you have to remember if they're going to cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you anyways. And there's nothing that you can do to prevent that if that's what's going to happen. All you can do is love unconditionally, love wholeheartedly, and trust and hope that that person is going to reciprocate that love, that unconditional love. You cannot stress something that hasn't happened, because now you're taking away from the good moments that you could be having in your relationship, and you're putting that out to other women that aren't even in your relationship or don't even have your man. If a man is going to cheat on you, unfortunately, the sad reality is he's going to cheat on you regardless. And there's nothing that you could do to prevent that. There's nothing that you should do to prevent that. If a woman could ever steal my man, she can have him, because I wouldn't want him anyways. Anybody who could be stolen from me is not somebody that I would ever want to be with, so I refuse to entertain other people in my relationship. I choose to focus on the person that I am with and loving him with my whole entire being. And while we're on that subject too, one thing that really upsets me is, let's say that a woman gets cheated on by her partner, by her man, and she goes after the person that he cheated with. Unless that person knows you and knows your relationship directly, you can't get upset with them, because their loyalty doesn't lie with you. His loyalty is supposed to lie with you. I would never, unless it's somebody who knows me directly or knows the relationship, that's a different situation, but I would never put my anger or sadness or hurt or frustrations into the other person. It would go directly towards him, because we've built the relationship. He's meant to be loyal to me. The reason that I got here was solely from recognizing that when I stressed situations that didn't happen, and when I put my past relationships into a new relationship, ultimately that relationship didn't progress. But the minute that I started focusing solely on my relationship, it's been 8 years. So that to me shows that the best thing you could ever do in a relationship is to focus solely on the people in the relationship. Block out the white noise, block out everyone else, and focus just on you guys. Relationships are supposed to bring you happiness. Relationships are supposed to bring you joy. And unfortunately, jealousy and anger and the constant concern for betrayal is really the devil in a relationship. It really is bringing in this negative darkness that you don't need in that relationship. If you're with somebody that doesn't make you feel like you are the most wonderful human being in the whole wide world, if you're with somebody that doesn't make you feel safe and secured in your relationship, then maybe it's time to leave that person. But if it's nothing to do with them, if it's solely to do with what's going on in your heart, then I think the most important thing is to sit back and address what's bringing on these insecurities. What maybe hurt you in the past, or who maybe hurt you in the past, or what has happened to you that makes you believe that this person isn't going to choose you every single day. For me, it was looking back on past relationships and realizing that I had a problem of never feeling good enough. That because I'd been cheated on, that because I'd seen an abusive relationship with my mom and her boyfriend at the time, and I'd been verbally abused as well, that I wasn't worthy of love. And once I recognized that that was where the root of this jealousy was stemming from, I was able to recognize that I don't want to give it that power, that I don't want to give those people who cheated on me, or those people who hurt me, or the man that abused my mom in front of me, or the man that abused me, the power to deprive me of happiness in a relationship. Because that's what you're doing when you're getting jealous in your current relationship, in a relationship that's making you happy over things that have happened in the past. You gotta take the Band-Aid off and address the wound, and then you can start to heal. And healing is the most difficult but beautiful process, especially in self-love and relationship love. It solely comes down to finding out what it is that caused you that hurt and why you're bringing it into this relationship. And sometimes the best thing you can do is have a conversation with your partner about what's happened in the past to you so that they can understand and they can make sure that they're constantly reassuring you, but also making sure that their actions align with keeping you feeling confident and comfortable in a relationship. What I meant by I enjoy seeing my man hit on by another woman as long as it's not directly disrespecting me is, let's say I'm out somewhere and I go to get a drink and a girl's hitting on my boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, girl, you got good taste. Like, that's okay because I know that he's coming home with me. You guys, I want to talk about this so much more, but my camera's literally about to die and I don't want to start over because I feel like I've just been in such a vibe with this and I've just been going off and I don't think I could recreate it. So if you guys want me to expand on this any further, let me know in the comments below. And if you want me to go into specific relationships in the past and what they've taught me, let me know in the comments below. But overall, the greatest piece of relationship advice I could give you is number 1, love yourself first. Number 2, love your partner with all that you can. Be open about your feelings, be open about your wants and needs, and if somebody ever leaves you for somebody else or cheats on you or disrespects you, know that it's not to do with you and move on because you are better than that queen. And there is always someone in the world that to them, you are the epitome of perfection and they will never, ever, ever go searching elsewhere. Well, you guys, that is my relationship tangent. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I should have charged my camera because I literally could have talked about this for an hour, but next Wine Wednesday, we will come in with a charged camera and a new subject, and whew, it's gonna be a long one. So make sure for next Wednesday, you guys have your drink of choice ready and we're gonna get juicy. Let me know in the comments below what you guys want me to talk about in next week's Wine Wednesday. Let me know any video requests you have for this channel because I'm uploading 5 videos a week and I'm just so excited over it. So make sure you guys let me know what it is you want to see. That is it for today's video. Like I said, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and until next Wine Wednesday, cheers, babies.